Hey BookTube, welcome back. Happy Wednesday evening to you. Welcome back to the History Shelf. Right there. I am your host, Peg. Well, I meant to make a video yesterday and I just got slammed with work and I was busy. And I was pretty tuckered in the evening. Wasn't up to making a video. But here I am this evening ready to bring you a uh, a used book haul, but more than that, to reveal my visit with a mystery booktuber. And I'm going to pop that photo up. Yes, that's right. Bill Rutenberg from the Rutenberg Library was in Denver, and we connected on Sunday, and we met up at 2nd and Charles, up at the Flatirons Mall, and it was just fantastic. Just a fantastic visit. So nice to meet Bill in person. He's just as genuine, warm, kind, funny, engaging, just a brother from another mother is what I like to call him now. We could have talked history and books all day long. We had a couple hours and we just couldn't stop talking, and it was fantastic. Funny story about the 2nd and Charles is I hadn't been there before, and I kept meaning to go. So this was a perfect opportunity, and we met up outside and went in. And at first he kind of pointed me to, he's like, I think this is the corner with the history. And I was like, it was like one bookshelf. And I was like, what? This is it? But we mostly were just talking, and I would like kind of look at some of the books, and they all seemed to be kind of mixed up. I'm like, this doesn't seem all history here. Well, I got to meet Bill and his wife Amber, and their youngest daughter, Katie, and it was fantastic. And they kind of wandered off to let us kind of just, be nerdy and geek out and talk. And so they were looking around. And what I didn't realize is when she came back, she's like, there was an elevator right there. And she's like, we're going to go up to the 2nd floor. And Bill and I are like, oh, wait, what? There's a 2nd floor. And sure enough, I see there's also a big stairwell out in the center of the store. And I'm like, oh, there's an upper level. And we're like, well, I wonder what's up there. And she's like, books. So thank you, Amber, for letting us know what we should have already known. So we all went on the elevator, went up to the 2nd floor. And when the doors opened, just because the bottom floor was mostly like what I've been seeing mostly at Barnes and Nobles, which is just like toys, games, everything but books, and it was really I was like starting to feel disappointed in this store until we got to the 2nd floor. And then the 2nd floor just opened, and it was just rows and rows of bookshelves, books in the center in these, tables, and oh my God, it was fantastic. We made a hard right, and immediately we're in the biographies and then the history section. And that's pretty much where we kind of stayed for a while and loaded up on some books. Because I didn't find anything downstairs. And I guess that one bookshelf was just like where people were dumping off the immediate books that had just arrived that hadn't been shelved or categorized yet. So guys, first of all, awesome to meet Bill and hang out with Bill. Second of all, I have a new used bookstore that now I can haunt because I found some really cool used books that I wouldn't have probably found anywhere, even online. So let me show them to you. But let me just say, it was fabulous to meet Bill and Amber and Katie, and just good people. And if you haven't subscribed or checked out Bill Rutenberg's channel, I'll link his channel below. Please do, if you love history. And we also talk about some of our favorite fiction. Check out his channel. It's outstanding. And yeah, so without further ado, let me show you. I bought this bag on the way out for 99 cents because I couldn't. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to go back every now and then, guys, and I'll have some 2nd and Charles hauls for you. But this one is funny. My stack of books fit perfectly into the bag. But let's see here. Whew, that was a workout. All right, well, this book was in perfect condition. I was just like, this looks brand new. I have a few of her works in these paperback editions. I think Distant Mirror is one of them. But this is one of my favorite historians, Barbara Tuchman. Stilwell and the American Experience in China, 1911 to 1945. Let's see here. And this, again, just beautiful condition. And I got this for $4.95. Perfect. I'll read you a little bit here. General Joseph W. Stilwell was a man who loved China deeply and knew its people as few Americans ever have. Barbara Tuchman's groundbreaking narrative follows Stilwell from the time he arrived in China during the Revolution of 1911 through his tours of duty in Peking and Tientsin in the 1920s and 30s to his return as theater commander in World War II, when the nationalist government faced attack from both Japanese invaders and communist insurgents. Peopled by warlords, ambassadors, and missionaries, this classic biography of the cantankerous but level-headed Vinegar Joe sparkles with Tuchman's genius for animating the people who shaped history. And I had read a little bit about Stilwell in some other books, just based around the events in China and Japan, and I wanted to know more. I want to know more about Stilwell. He was supposed to be quite a character and a smart cookie. So I picked this up for a song. And also, by the way, I'll link, well, let's see. No, I think it hasn't been posted yet. No. Bill will have his own video showing what he picked up. Okay, I know he got a lot of cool stuff. I, helped him pick out some stuff. He helped me pick out some stuff. All right. Oh, yeah. So this one I came across, and I already had like 3 books by this guy already. Mostly around Japan, embracing defeat, and then he wrote another book about culture of war. But I know this is like something I'm going to read in conjunction with the Embracing Defeat book, but this is War Without Mercy, Race and Power in the Pacific War, and that's by John W. Dower. When I was watching the HBO series, The Pacific, it kind of touched on this in a sense. It touched on the racism that was involved between the two cultures. It wasn't just one way. It just wasn't the Americans looking at the Japanese, and being racist. The Japanese were also very convinced that they were the superior race, and they looked down on the white-skinned folks. So it was, they both looked at each other as inferiors. So it's interesting. And but this, I think, takes kind of more of the look about how the racism was, from the Caucasian side. But let me just read this to you. Now in paperback, War Without Mercy has been hailed by the New York Times as one of the most original and important books to be written about the war between Japan and the U.S. In this monumental history, Professor John Dower reveals a hidden, explosive dimension of the Pacific War, race, while writing what John Toland has called a landmark book, a powerful, moving, and even-handed history that is sorely needed in both America and Japan. Drawing on American and Japanese songs, slogans, cartoons, propaganda films, secret reports, and a wealth of other documents of the time, Dower opens up a whole new way of looking at that bitter struggle of 4.5 decades ago and its ramifications in our lives today. As Edwin O. Reischauer, former ambassador to Japan, has pointed out, this book offers a lesson that the post-war generations need most, with eloquent, crushing detail and power. Yeah, and this is a really great paperback edition, $4.95. I'm just loving it. I mean, I can't wait to go back to Second and Charles, because great history section, great biography section. What do we got next? Ooh, I found this at the very tail end of the visit, and I was like, should I get it? And I'm like, yes, because I want to get the other book by this gentleman. This was about $6, but great condition. This is The Making of the Atomic Bomb by Richard Rhodes, and he's author of Dark Sun, which was about the making of the hydrogen bomb, which is the one I want to get next. But this was the winner of the Pulitzer Prize, the National Book Award, and the National Book Critics Circle Award. So it comes highly recommended, and it's a big one. It's a big book. with notes index. It's 870 pages. No, 800. It's almost a 900-page book. And it came with, there was a tattered cover bookmark in the center. So someone from the tattered cover picked this up. Tattered cover, if you noticed in my last video, I was wearing a cap, and one person commented on it, and I agree with you. Tattered cover is awesome. It's in downtown Denver. We're talking, well, there's another location, but it's further away from me. And now they have a new location that's part of like the new, how they've redone the Coors Field area. So it's right down there in the heart of Denver. And so I don't go down there just because, I mean, I want to, and I will at some point, but the parking is parking on the street, or you got to pay for a parking garage. And so it's a little bit harder to access, if you're not living near the city or in the city itself. But tattered cover is awesome. And now I have an extra bookmark. Yay. So thank you. All right. So it says here, and this book came out in, let's see, I know this is the paperback edition, but came out in 1986. It says, here for the first time in rich human, political, and scientific detail is the complete story of how the bomb was developed, from the turn-of-the-century discovery of the vast energy locked inside the atom to the dropping of the first bombs on Japan. Few great discoveries have evolved so swiftly or have been so misunderstood. From the theoretical discussions of nuclear energy to the bright glare of Trinity, there was a span of hardly more than 25 years. What began as merely an interesting speculative problem in physics grew into the Manhattan Project, and then into the bomb with frightening rapidity, while scientists known only to their peers, Szilard, Teller, Oppenheimer, Bohr, Meitner, Fermi, Lorentz, and von Neumann, stepped from their ivory towers into the limelight. Richard Rhodes takes us on that journey step by step, minute by minute, and gives us the definitive story of man's most awesome discovery and invention. The making of the atomic bomb has been compared in its sweep and importance to William L. Shirer's The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. And we might see Shirer in this hall. It is at once a narrative tour de force and a document as powerful as its subject. So again, a massive undertaking, but I want to get to it. I've been wanting to read about that. And in fact, did I move it? Nope, I have it up here. You can't see it's off camera, but I have a massive biography on Robert Oppenheimer. Sorry. One moment. Okay, so next. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, so sometimes this is what I love too, is I find these old editions. To me, older is like 60s, 50s, or 60s, right? And this book, hardcover, from 1967, and even in the dust jacket flap, back in the day in 1967, a hardcover was only $10. And so it's almost like nostalgic, and I had to get it, and there was a nice name in the front. Look at that, October 1974. Look at this, $10. So this is it's a lovely cover, Death and Life, Survivors of Hiroshima by Robert J. Lifton. And Death and Life was the winner of the National Book Award for 1969 in science. And this is the first edition of 1967. And it has that old smell. This is that wonderful, oh my God. You can't even describe it, but it's that smell. Once you smell it, it's like you just wish you could bottle it. It's perfect. I almost just bought it for the smell. But no, I've always been interested. It kind of follows along, obviously, fits in well with the after effect of the atomic bomb. So it says here, the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in the early morning of August 6, 1945, is even today one of the most debated and disturbing events in world history. Now remember, this dust jacket copy was written in 1967 or so. No one in Hiroshima was prepared for what happened, for the city had escaped serious bombing despite its strategic wartime significance, and the people's attitude, even on that morning as they hurried into the city center to their jobs, was a combination of amazement at its good fortune and fear that its turn would come. Robert J. Lifton, who has lived and worked in Japan for several years, is the first person, American or Japanese, to undertake a wide-ranging study of those who survived the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. He interviewed people in Hiroshima who had experienced the bomb. among them community leaders, politicians, clergymen, administrators and directors of survivor and peace movement groups, medical personnel, scholars, writers, artists, foreigners resident in the city, and visitors to it. And quotations from the interviews interwoven with the taut and coolly analytic narrative provide insight into survivors' struggles and problems, such as fear of physical after effects in themselves or their children, continuing immersion in death and death imagery, feelings of guilt over having survived while others died, the ability of or lack of it to function as they had prior to the bomb. The extraordinary vividness of the memories of those he interviewed is a testament to the enormity of the event's effect on their personal lives and on the life of the city. Dr. Lifton shows how the A-bomb experience continues to haunt and elude those who seek to deal with it creatively. That's just some of that description. So, doesn't that sound fantastic? This book was only $5.25. Fantastic condition. I had never heard of this book before. And I have several books on like the A-bomb and the Hiroshima. So, yay! What else do we have here, guys? Oh, cool. Yes, indeed. I got another book for a song. This was just ridiculous. Okay. This came out in, let's see, this was a 1978 edition, hardcover. Pretty good condition. It looks like there was a rip on the cover, but someone taped it. Works for me. This is Dulles, a biography of Eleanor, Allen, and John Foster Dulles and their family network by Leonard Mosley. Look at that. I just love these old books. This was only $3.50. So apparently, the older the book, obviously the cheaper they make them, or, when they're pricing them, but they don't know what they have here, like the newer books are really more expensive, but they really need to look at, they've got some gems here that they don't even know about. Selling them for cheap. This has a very long description, so let me just see. I'll just read a snippet here. Foster, it says here, Foster, Allen, and Eleanor Dulles were three extraordinarily strong individuals. Yet, as Leonard Mosley shows so brilliantly, they were linked by a complex family network, forged in an outwardly conventional childhood. This book's insight into their private lives, including their decidedly unusual years of growing up, reveals the remarkable interplay between private and public faces, ripping aside the accepted facades of statesman, spy, and sister. I'm interested in the Dulleses mostly John Foster and Allen to that extent, but it'd be cool to learn about Eleanor. I've been reading a lot about espionage lately, the last 6 months. We've been reviewing some books on that. And John Foster has come up a lot. So I'm just kind of curious how his imprint on the CIA, and I'd like to see, kind of a little bit more privately what he was like. A good biography on, and then the fact that it's siblings, I think, is really cool too. So for $3.50, you guys. And there's that tear, but again, someone taped it very nicely. So I'm more than okay with this. Again, I found like real big history books, and it's fantastic. Is this the one I'm hoping to show you? Oh, and this one, actually, we're going to talk about Bill again. So this was one of the first books I saw on the shelf, and I said, have you finished reading this yet? Because he has shown it on his channel several times, and I don't have this particular biography. I have the newer one by Arthur Herman, but you know what? Since Bill's reading it, I kind of wanted to check it out. So this is, Bill's been reading this. This is American Caesar, sorry for the glare, Douglas MacArthur, 1880 to 1964 by William Manchester, who I believe is also the one who began the trilogy on Churchill, the biography. I think that was the same. Was it William Manchester? I think it was. So this is which version is this? Probably the same one as Bill's. It's this older book. Really, $4.95. Very old. It's got all the kind of like a chronology of MacArthur's life, his accomplishments. Yeah, this is a 1978 version by Little Brown and Company. It's a little loose, the binding's it's a little bit more beat up, but you know what? You can't beat it with all the photos kind of put in throughout the book. And since I only have like really one major biography, but I have other books that are like kind of examine one aspect of MacArthur, like H.W. Brands's book, The General and the President, when it's talking about him and Truman. So I thought having two biographies I could compare, to see which one I prefer, which one kind of might actually get close to the real Douglas MacArthur. So I picked up American Caesar, inspired by Bill Rutenberg. So thank you. All right. Okay. One last big book and then one little tiny book I'm going to save for the end there. All right. Well, I did not know this. I knew, okay, I talked about William Shirer, right, earlier. Well, I have The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, and recently I picked up, which I haven't shown yet on this channel. It's a used version, and it doesn't have a dust jacket, but I think it's called The Rise and Fall of the Third Republic, or about France. But I did not know that he wrote a 3-volume memoir, and I found volume 2. This nice edition, The Nightmare Years, 1930 to 1940. Says 20th Century Journey at the top there. And down at the bottom it says A Memoir of a Life in the Times. Great condition. I think this was the most expensive book out of all that I picked up, $6.95. But it's the great William Shirer, right? That inset there. And so I figured, look, it's volume 2, but I'll see if I can find volumes 1 and 3. It's great condition. I think I only saw a couple of places where someone might have underlined in pencil, but nothing too major. There's a little bit of underlining in there, if you can see that. No big deal, but lots of illustrations throughout. I think with these older books, they didn't go with just the insert. They kind of intersperse stuff throughout in the beginning, middle, and end. So I appreciate that. Like this is in the very beginning of the book. But I want to know more about the man himself, the man who wrote that classic book. So let me just see what I can share here. So it says here, the second volume of his memoirs, the prize-winning author provides an eyewitness, an intensely personal vision of the crucible out of which the Nazi monster appeared. Fluent in German, married to a Viennese, Shirer had an uncanny sense of the shaping of events and sources that enabled him to act on his intuition. He met, knew, talked to, and occasionally drank with Goering, Goebbels, Himmler, Hess, Heydrich, Ribbentrop, Eichmann, and dozens of high command staff officers. Even Hitler he observed at first hand, close enough, he noted, to kill him. Through articles, simultaneous translations of Hitler's speeches, and his own broadcasts, Shirer desperately tried to warn the Western world of this demonic scourge. To his intense frustration, while he was read and listened to, the urgency of his message was not believed. So this is his second volume. So what I did was, when I got home, because I'm a completionist, of course I want to start from the beginning. So I went home and I was like looking online and searching, and I ended up finding because I wanted to get the books that were all kind of printed in the same way, and not to get different versions, but to try to get this is the Little Brown company that did this. Again, $6.95. Often, you're thinking that maybe, these books might show up, but I don't think I have that type of luck. Like 1 and 3 might show up. I don't know. they might have already been taken or bought. So what I did was I went searching, and I think I found volume 3 on Thrift Books, like very good condition, it said. So we'll see if it's in very good condition. It's being shipped right now. And then volume 1, I think I ordered off Amazon. It's supposed to be in very good condition as well. So we shall see, and I'll show those in an upcoming video of just books I've bought, recently, and maybe do another. I don't even know what to call these videos anymore, where I'm just showing books I've bought, whether used or new. But it'll be in one of those videos, and you can see volumes 1 and 3. But doesn't that sound interesting? And have any of you read the memoirs of William Shirer? Again, mostly known for the rise and fall of the Third Reich. And I will show the hardcover that I got picked up of the Rise and Fall of the Third Republic. So I'm getting a nice little Shirer collection going. And then the final book was mostly a nostalgia pickup. Bill and I were talking about our favorite Civil War historians, and kind of comparing the merits of like Shelby Foote versus Bruce Catton. And Bruce Catton won. We were both huge Catton fans, but definitely for Bill, he was mentioning how he loves Catton. And I said, I really kind of cut my teeth on Catton, along with those. I saw a full set of the Time Life books, those of the Civil War, the silver ones with the blue embossed print on the sides. And I kind of wish I still had those. And when I kind of left home and joined the military, all my collection of like Time Life, Old West, and Civil War collections I stayed with my mom. And I think they're still at her house, or I think I might have given her permission to donate them to the local library, because I just figured, it would cost a mint to ship them. And I just have to let them go into a library where someone else can read and learn from them. So, but they were beautiful books. And so we were on, looking at the Time Life books, and then we're looking at the Shelby Foote books there and talking about his reactions to reading the first one. And we just kind of came back to Bruce Catton, and Bill was talking about, one of the publishers, which he couldn't at first remember the name of. Then he found this book. He goes, these are the ones I use for my teaching aids, because he's a history teacher. And he held it up, and boy, it was only $1.40. And I was like, Bruce Catton. I'm trying to reconstitute my Bruce Catton library, which again, I think are with my mother somewhere in Alabama. I miss my Bruce Catton books, but little paperback of the American Heritage Short History of the Civil War. Just a very slim volume, $1.40. And he picked it out, handed it to me, and I said, I'm going to get this then. This is kind of neat. This is what he was using to kind of highlight the big things for his students to know about. And I love Bruce Catton. And recently, I think maybe a couple months ago, I showed you I've ordered a couple of Bruce Catton books through Book Outlet or something, or Hamilton Book, because I'm trying to get a hold of those copies again. I really miss the editions I have. I might have to ask my mom if she still has them, but she may have to dig through some boxes there to look. But like Grant Moves South, Grant Takes Command, those are my favorites. Anyway, we were talking about Bruce Catton, so I picked that up for $1.40. And that's my stack, but I mean, we're talking heavy duty and big stuff. We're talking big chunkster books, and this is not even all of them, right? We get Stilwell. And we've got The Nightmare Years by Shirer. This was a very good haul. It was a very good shopping day. And I think so I got all of these without tax, it was $39. Not bad. Not bad at all. Considering some of these are probably pretty hard to find, I would imagine, online. So yeah, overall it was just a fantastic afternoon. Loved meeting Bill and his family. We hope to do it again soon if he's ever up this way. But there you have it. There's my my haul and my story. And please do check out Bill's video, which will be coming soon. And until next time, BookTube, have fun, and thanks for the community. Bye.